Eli sat alone in his dimly lit apartment, the silence pressing against his ears. It had been 3 months since he decided to change his life. 3 months of waking up at dawn, working long hours, and saying no to the things that used to define him. But tonight, the weight of it all felt unbearable. His mind wandered to the old days, the rush of late night parties, the easy escape of a drink, the thrill of gambling until the sun came up. He missed it, or at least a part of him did. He stared at the clock, 11:47 p.m. The bar down the street would still be open. His fingers twitched, and he could almost feel the cool glass of whiskey in his hand. Just one drink, he muttered to himself. What's the harm in one drink? But he knew it wasn't about the drink. It was about the door it would open. One drink would lead to another and another, and soon he'd be back in the same cycle he fought so hard to break. He clenched his fists, his nails digging into his palms. The temptation wasn't coming from friends or outside influences, it was coming from within. It was his own mind, his own weakness calling him back to the comfort of self-destruction. He stood up, pacing the room. His heart raced as he argued with himself. You've been so good. You deserve a break. Just one night. You can start again tomorrow. But another voice, quieter but firmer, whispered back, You've come too far to go back now. This is the test. Don't give in. Eli grabbed his jacket and stepped outside, the cool night air hitting his face. He walked toward the bar, each step feeling heavier than the last. He could see the neon sign glowing in the distance, a siren calling him home. But as he got closer, he stopped. His chest tightened and he felt a wave of nausea. He wasn't sure if it was fear or guilt or something else entirely. He turned around and walked the other way, his feet carrying him to the park instead. He sat on a bench, staring at the stars, and let the tears come. He cried for the person he used to be, for the pain he'd caused himself and others, and for the long, hard road ahead. He cried because he knew the temptation would never fully go away. It would always be there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for a moment of weakness. But that night, Eli made a promise to himself. He wouldn't let his temptation win. He would face it, acknowledge it, and keep moving forward, even when every fiber of his being wanted to turn back. He realized that discipline wasn't about being perfect. It was about choosing to fight even when it felt impossible. Years later, Eli would look back on that night as the moment he truly began to change. He still faced temptations, and there were days where the old version of himself whispered in his ear, trying to pull him back. But he had learned to listen to the quieter voice, the one that reminded him of who he was becoming. And with each small victory, he grew stronger, until the person he used to be was nothing more than a shadow, a reminder of how far he'd come. Eli's journey was never easy, but it was his, and in the end, that made all the difference. All of us have a part of Eli in our body. We all have things that we want to do just one more time. That's it. But we need to realize that doing the thing isn't the problem. The act of going against yourself and opening that door again is the true issue. And being knowing that your habits are right is the only way you can truly achieve a peace.